Hi students, welcome back to the part 3 video of Social Chapter 1 Andhra Pradesh State Syllabus. The third physical division of India that we are going to study is the Peninsular Plateau. The Peninsular Plateau consists of two broad divisions, namely the Central Highlands consists of Malwa Plateau and Chota Nagpur Plateau. Here you can see this is Malwa Plateau and here this is the Chota Nagpur Plateau. And then the main portion, that is the Deccan Plateau. Here you can see the yellow shaded triangular shaped plateau that is known as Deccan Plateau. Here you can see two mountain ranges. This is the Vindhya mountain ranges and this is the Satpura mountain ranges. And here on the east side Eastern Ghats and on the west side Western Ghats, and downside that is Annamalai Hills, where we can find the highest peak in South India, that is Anaimudi. The portion of Peninsular Plateau lying to the south of Narmada, which is a triangular landmass, is called the Deccan Plateau. Now let us learn more about the Deccan Plateau. The Deccan Plateau is located south of the Gangetic Plains, the portion lying between the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. It includes a substantial area to the south to the Satpura Range, which has popularly been regarded as the divide between northern India and the Deccan. The plateau is bounded on the east and west by the Eastern and Western Ghats, while its northern extremity is the Vindhya Range. The Deccan's average elevation is about 2000 feet, that is 600 meters, sloping generally eastward. Its principal rivers are the Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri, flow from the Western Ghats eastward to the Bay of Bengal. Tiruvannamalai in Tamil Nadu is often regarded as the southern gateway of Deccan Plateau. Now let us learn more information regarding the Peninsular Plateau. This is the location of Deccan Plateau, this is Malwa Plateau and this is the location of Chota Nagpur Plateau. This plateau region is dry, the rivers are not perennial. Perennial means flowing throughout the year. These rivers, those are flowing in this area, are rain-fed and so they are not perennial. The Chota Nagpur Plateau is rich in mineral resources. Nilgiri Range is the southern boundary of Deccan Plateau. This is the southernmost boundary of Deccan Plateau, that is the Nilgiri Hills. The famous hill station in Western Ghats is Ooty. This is the location of Ooty. Highest peak in Nilgiris is Doda Beta with a height of 2637 meters. This is the location of Doda Beta. The highest peak in Eastern Ghats is Aroekonda with a height of 1680 meters. The location of Aroekonda is this one. This is the location. The highest peak in South India is Anaimudi and it is the highest peak in Western Ghat also. Its height is around 2695 meters and it is located here. This is the location of Anaimudi. These are some of the very important map pointing questions and we have to learn where to point out that also. Here we are going to learn about the features of the Western Ghats. The Western Ghats lie parallel to the west coast. The structure of Western Ghats is continuous with a few passes as the gateways to the coastal plains. The Western Ghats are higher than the Eastern Ghats. Thus, for the Deccan Plateau region, west to east slope is seen. The Western Ghats extend for 1600 kilometers. Near Gudalur, the Nilgiris join the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. The famous hill station Udagamandalam, popularly known as Ooty, is located in Nilgiris and Doda Beta is the highest peak in Nilgiris with a height of 2637 meters. Western Ghats include Anaimalai Palani in Tamil Nadu, and Cardamom Hills in Kerala. Anaimudi, with a height of 2695 meters of Annamalai Hills, is the highest peak in South India as well as the highest peak in Western Ghats. Rivers that originate in Western Ghats are Godavari, Kaveri, Tungabhadra and Krishna, so on. Now let us go through the features of the Eastern Ghats. The Eastern Ghats extends from Mahanadi to Nilgiris. The Eastern Ghats are not continuous. The rivers cut across the plateau and joins Bay of Bengal. The average height of the Eastern Ghats is around 900 meters. The highest peak in Eastern Ghats is Arayakonda, found at Chindambally with a height of 1680 meters, and it is located in Andhra Pradesh. Nallamalas, Velikondas, Palkondas and Sheshachala are some of the hilly tracts. One of the remarkable features of the peninsular plateau is black soils formed due to volcanic activity. Now let us discuss an important question from this area, that is, plateau regions in India do not support agriculture as much as the plain regions. What are the reasons for this? Otherwise it can be asked like this: what are the difference between plateau region and the plain region in the case of agriculture? Now let us start the answer. Plateau regions in India do not support agriculture as much as the plain regions. It is an area of fairly high level ground to the surrounding area. A plain region are more suitable for agriculture. A plain is a low-lying land with leveled surface. The physical surface of a plateau are not supportive to agriculture. The rugged surface of plateau makes irrigation difficult. The plains has more suitable irrigation facilities. The plateau regions does not have any perennial rivers. The plains has number of rivers and the plains have fertile lands that are drained by the rivers. Large part of agricultural activity is taken up in the fertile plains than in the plateau regions. The plateaus are often suffer from insufficient rainfall. The plains are formed with alluvial soils which are very fertile, whereas the plateaus are covered by thin and light tortured soils which are less fertile. The plateau regions are rich in mineral deposits, whereas the plains are more suitable for agriculture. The next physical feature of India that we are going to study is the Thar Desert. Here in this picture, you can see this is the location of the Thar Desert and it is located in the leeward side of the Aravallis. The Thar Desert is located on the leeward side of Aravallis and receives very low amount of rainfall ranging from 100 to 150 millimeters per year. You can see this is Mount Aravalli and this is the location of Thar Desert. There is only one river, that is the river Luni. Here we are going to discuss about the longest canal in India, that is the Indira Gandhi Canal, which is the longest canal in our country with a 650 kilometers long, watering a part of the Thar Desert. Hence, several hectares of the desert land have been brought under cultivation. Here you can see this is the location of Indira Gandhi Canal. Here you can see the picture of a settlement in Thar Desert. Here you can see another picture from the settlement in Thar Desert. Now let us move to the next physical feature of India, that is coastal plains. There are two coastal plains are part of India. One is on the west side and the other one is on the east side. On the western side there is Kutch and Kathiawar, Konkan coast, Canara coast and Malabar coast. On the east side there is Utkal Coast, Vanga Coast, Sirkar Coast and Coromandel Coast. We'll learn about this one more in the coming session. Now let us go through the western coastal plains. The western coastal plains can be divided into four parts. First one, Malabar coast. It is the coast of Kerala. This is the location of Malabar coast. Second, Canara coast. It is the coastal area of state Karnataka. This is the location of Canara coast. Then Konkan coast. It's the coast of Maharashtra and Goa. This is the location of Konkan coast. Then Kutch and Kathiawar region. It is the coastal area of the state Gujarat. This is the location of Kutch and Kathiawar. Now let us learn about the locations of eastern coastal plains. These coastal plains are known locally by different names. Vanga coast, it is the coastal area of West Bengal. This is the location of Vanga coast. Then Utkal coast, it is the coastal region of Odisha and the location is here. This is the location of Utkal coast. Next, Sirkar coast, it is the coastal area of Andhra Pradesh and here you can see this is the location of Sirkar coast. Then Coromandel coast, it is the coastal area of Tamil Nadu state. This is the location of Coromandel coast. Now let us have some idea about the important lakes in India. Lakes like Chilka in Orissa and Kolleru and Pulicat in Andhra Pradesh are other important features of the coastal plain. Here you can see this is the location of Pulicat Lake, then Kolleru Lake, this is the Chilka Lake. Another important lakes are Sambar Lake, this is the location, and Voolar Lake, this is the location. Now we are going to learn an important question from this area, that is, how are the eastern coastal plains and western coastal plains are similar or different? First we will discuss the features of the eastern coastal plains and then we will discuss the features of western coastal plain. Now let us start the features of the eastern coastal plain. First one, the eastern coastal plain is located between the Eastern Ghats and the Bay of Bengal. Secondly, this belt of plains are comparatively wider and flat. Third, eastern coastal plains are very fertile. Rivers Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri deposit their sediments during delta formation. Fourth, it is divided into Vanga, Utkal, Sirkar and Coromandel coasts. Fifth, the eastern coastal plain is famous for food crops. Sixth, there are lakes like Chilka, Kolleru and Pulicat. Seventh, these plains receive relatively lesser rainfall. Eighth, more irrigation facilities are available in this plain. 9. Deltas in these plains are agriculturally developed and also enables rich fishing resources. Now let us move to the features of the western coastal plains. Firstly, the western coastal plains is located between the Western Ghats and Arabian Sea. Secondly, the western coastal plain is narrow in width and uneven. Third, this belt of plains are less fertile. No major river is engaged of sediments. There are no deltas. It is divided into Kutch and Kathiawar, Konkan, Coromandel and Malabar coasts. Fifth, the western coastal plain is famous for cash crops. Sixth, the plain has no lakes but it has lagoons and backwaters. 7th, western plains receive more rainfall. 8th, the western coastal plain has no irrigation facilities. 9th, this belt of plain zone enables rich fishing resource but no proper agricultural development. Here we move to the final physical feature of India, that is the islands. In India, there are two groups of islands are there. One is present on the Bay of Bengal, that is known as Andaman and Nicobar Islands, stretched in the Bay of Bengal, and the other one is on the west side, that is Lakshadweep Islands in the Arabian Sea. The island groups present in Bay of Bengal that are part of India are Andaman and Nicobar Islands. It's a group of different islands, and in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Narcondam and Barren Islands are volcanic origin. These island groups are that of volcanic origin, and presently there are active volcanoes are there. They are present in the Narcondam Island. The location is here, and the Barren Island. It is located here. And the southernmost tip of India is present in the Nicobar Island. You can see this is the Indira Point. This is the location of Indira Point. Here you can see a picture taken from Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And Andaman and Nicobar Island is an elevated portion of submerged mountain parts running from Myanmar mountain Arkan Yoma. Here you can see a picture taken from Lakshadweep Island, and Lakshadweep Islands are of coral origin. It's very small. Its total geographic area is only 32 square kilometers. Its capital is Kavaratti. Here you can see the map of Lakshadweep Islands, and it is a small group of islands present in the Arabian Sea, and it is very near to the state of Kerala, and the capital is Kavaratti. This group of islands are famous for great variety of flora and fauna, and you can see the pictures here. Here we are going to learn about some of the most important concepts that are coming from this chapter. First one, perennial. Perennial typically describes things that are permanent, constant or repeated. Here it refers to the continuous flow of the rivers throughout the entire year as a stream. Second one, coral reefs. A coral reef is an underwater ecosystem. A coral reef is made of thin layers of calcium carbonate. Coral reefs are large underwater structures composed of the skeletons of colonial marine invertebrates called coral. Third, coastal plains. A plain adjacent to the coast is called coastal plain. The southern part of the peninsula of India is bordered by two narrow coastal strips along the Arabian Sea on the west and the Bay of Bengal on the east. Fourth one, peninsula. A place or piece of land which is surrounded by water on three sides but connected to the mainland on the one side. The peninsular plateau is a table of land composed of the old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. It was formed due to the breaking of and drifting of Gondwana land and thus making it a part of the oldest landmass. Fifth one, Laurasia. Laurasia was the northernmost of two continents that formed part of the Pangaea supercontinent from approximately 200 million years ago. World landforms originated from two giant lands, namely Ankara land, otherwise known as Laurasia, and the Gondwana land. The sixth concept, Ankara land. The landmass to the north of Tethys Sea was called Ankara land. Ancient continental mass consisted of modern continents of Asia and Europe. Seventh, Gondwana land. The landmass to the south of Tethys Sea was called Gondwana land. Ancient continental mass consisted South America, Africa, India, Australia and Antarctica. 8th, Shivaliks, the southernmost range of Himalayas, a mountain range of the outer Himalayas. 9th, Purvanchal. In Arunachal Pradesh, beyond the Dihang Valley, the Himalayas take hairpin bend to the south and act as eastern boundary of India and run through the northeastern states. These divisions are known as Purvanchal. 10th, leeward. The leeward side is the side protected by the elevation of the land from the prevailing wind and is typically the drier side of the land, being the side opposite to the windward. Here this picture will give you a clear idea about the leeward side. Here you can see this is the direction of the wind and opposite to that area, this mountain, opposite to the wind blowing area, that side is considered as the leeward side. Now let us move to the important map pointing as well as map reading questions from this session. Now let us go through some of the important map pointing questions from this area. The first one, the great desert in India. This is the only desert in India, that is Thar Desert. Its location is here. Then the mountain range which is caused for forming Thar Desert, that is the Aravalli range. Here you can see this is the Aravalli range. Next, the mountain range on the north of Narmada. So that is the Vindhya range. Here you can see this is the Vindhya range. Next, the river flowing through the Thar Desert. There is only one river, that is the Luni river. Next, the river that flows in the Rift Valley, that is between Vindhya and Satpura, that is the Rift Valley. That river is Narmada. This is the Narmada river. Next, the northern plains, that is the Indo-Gangetic plains. This is the northern plain. Next, the Indian plateau, that is the peninsular plateau, otherwise it is called the Deccan plateau. Here this triangular shaped plateau is known as Deccan plateau. The north division of the peninsular plateau, that is Malwa plateau, the central highland Malwa plateau, and on the east side here it is the Chota Nagpur plateau. The south division of the peninsular plateau, that is the Deccan plateau. The mountain range on south of Narmada, that is the Satpura range. Here you can see this is the Satpura range. Now let us move to the next question. The plateau which is rich in minerals, that is the Chota Nagpur plateau. This is the location of Chota Nagpur plateau. The northern boundary of Deccan plateau, that is the Satpura mountain ranges. This is the location of Satpura mountains. The eastern boundary of Deccan plateau, that is Eastern Ghats. This is the location of Eastern Ghats. The western boundary of Deccan plateau, that is Western Ghats, and this is the location of Western Ghats. The southern boundary of Deccan plateau, that is the Nilgiri mountains. This is the location of Nilgiri mountains. The mountain range which is joint Eastern and Western Ghats, that is the Nilgiri mountains itself. The highest peak in Nilgiri hills, that is Doda Beta. This is the location of Doda Beta. The highest peak in Western Ghats, that is Anaimudi, and this is the location of Anaimudi. The highest peak in Eastern Ghats, that is called Aroyakonda, and you can see this is the location of Aroyakonda. The highest peak in South India, that is Anaimudi, and this is the location of Anaimudi. Now let us learn about the coastal plains and coastal states in India. There are two coastal regions. One is on the west side and the other one is on the east side. On the west side, the coastal plain is between the Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea. That area is known as the Western Coastal Plain. On the other hand, the area between Eastern Ghats and Bay of Bengal, that area is known as Eastern Coastal Plains. Now let us see the names of the coastal regions. The coastal area of Gujarat is known as Kutch and Kathiawar. The coastal area of Maharashtra is known as Konkan Coast. The coast of Karnataka and Goa is known as Canara Coast, and the coast of Kerala is known as Malabar Coast. On the eastern side, the coast of Tamil Nadu is known as Coromandel Coast, and the coast of Andhra Pradesh is known as Sirkar Coast, and the coast of Odisha is known as Utkal Coast, and the coast of West Bengal is known as Wanga Coast. And there are 9 coastal states in India, 5 on the west side and 4 on the east side. Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Goa and Kerala are the states on the west side, and Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, West Bengal are the states in the east side. Here we discuss about the fifth and sixth physical features of India. They are the desert and the islands. In India, there is only one desert that is present in Rajasthan state, and its name is Thar Desert, and there is only one river present in this area, that is River Luni. There is a big canal present in this area, and that is the longest canal in India, that is known as Indira Gandhi Canal, and this is the location of Indira Gandhi Canal. There are 2 island groups that are part of India. One is on the west side and the other one is on the east side. In the west side, there is Lakshadweep Islands with the capital Kavaratti, and it is near to the state of Kerala. On the east side, the island groups are known as Andaman and Nicobar Islands with the capital Port Blair, and in that Narcondam and Barren Islands are volcanic origin and they are located here. This is Barren Island and this is Narcondam Island. And in the Nicobar Island, there is the southernmost tip of India, that is known as Indira Point. This is the location of Indira Point. And here you can see the gap between India and Sri Lanka on the south is named as Gulf of Mannar, and on the north it is known as Park Strait. Now let us go through some important questions from this area. The first one, the state with longest coastal area in India, that is Gujarat. The state with the second longest coastline in India, that is Andhra Pradesh. The state in India with the smallest coastal area, Goa. The river flowing in Thar Desert, Luni River. The longest canal in India, Indira Gandhi Canal. The island originated due to volcanic eruption, Barren and Narcondam in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The southernmost tip of India, Indira Point. The capital of Lakshadweep Islands, Kavaratti. The capital of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Port Blair. Shallow bay between India and Sri Lanka in the south, Gulf of Mannar. The islands of coral origin, Lakshadweep Islands. The southernmost tip of Indian mainland, Kanyakumari. It is in Tamil Nadu state, that is the southernmost state. The desert in India, Thar. The gap between India and Sri Lanka in the north, Park Strait. The state situated near the 3 seas, that is Tamil Nadu. The southernmost state in India, that is also Tamil Nadu. The coastal area of Kerala is known as Malabar Coast. The freshwater lake in AP, that is Kolleru. The nearest country to Lakshadweep is Maldives. The capital of Tamil Nadu, Chennai. Practice this one in a blank map of India. Here we point some important questions in the outline map of India. The first one, Konkan Coast, 31st question. Here you can see this is the Konkan Coast. Then Canara Coast, the coast of Karnataka, it's here. Next, Malabar Coast, the coast of Kerala. Next, Coromandel Coast, it is the coast of Tamil Nadu. Next, Sirkar Coast, it is the coast of Andhra Pradesh. Then Utkal Coast, it is the coast of Odisha. Then Vanga Coast, it is the coast of West Bengal. Then the lake in Odisha, that is Chilka. Here you can see this is Chilka Lake. Then the freshwater lake in Andhra Pradesh, Kolleru. This is the location of Kolleru. Then the saltwater lake in Andhra Pradesh, that is Pulicat Lake. This is the location of Pulicat Lake. Practice this one. Now let us have an idea about the important mountain ranges and peaks in India. So let us start with the Karakoram range. This is the northernmost side. The highest peak is Mount K2. Then coming down, Aravalli range. The highest mount is there, Mount Abu. Next, Vindhya range. The highest peak there is Sadbhavana Shikara. Next, Satpura range. The highest peak is Dupkat. Next, Mahadeo ranges. Highest peak is Panchamari. Then Michael range. The highest peak is Amarkandak. Then Kaimur range. Then moving to the northeast, Padkai range. And there you can see also Dafa hills. And the highest peak in Padkai range is Mount Saramadi. Then moving to the South India, there is Eastern Ghats and the Western Ghats and the Nilgiri Hills, the joining place between the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. The highest peak there is Doda Beta and the highest peak in South India, that is Anaimudi. Now let us go through the important questions. The first one, highest peak in India, that is the K2 peak. You can see the location is here. Then highest peak in the world, that is Mount Everest. You can see the location is here. Then highest peak in South India, that is Anaimudi. The location is here. The mountain range caused for forming Thar Desert, that is Aravalli range. This is the location of Aravalli range. The mountain range on the north of Narmada river, Vindhya range. Here in between the river Narmada flows, so to the north side, that is the Vindhya range. This is the location. The northern boundary of Deccan Plateau, that is the Satpura range. Here you can see this is the Satpura range. Now western boundary of Deccan Plateau, that is the Western Ghats. This is the location of Western Ghats. Southern boundary of Deccan Plateau, that is Nilgiri Hills. Here this is the Nilgiri Hills. The highest peak in Nilgiri Hills, that is the Doda Beta. This is Doda Beta. Next, highest peak in Western Ghats, that is Anaimudi. Highest peak in Eastern Ghats, that is Aroya Konda. So this is the Aroya Konda peak. Highest peak in Himalayas, that is Mount Everest. This is the location. The mountain range where K2 peak is located, that is the Karakoram range. This is the Karakoram range. Next, Padkai range. This is the Padkai range. It is in the northeast region. The highest peak in Aravalli range, that is the Mount Abu. This is the location of Mount Abu. And here you can see the pointing is little bit different, but as we have learned the symbols, a group of triangles should be used to point the mountain ranges. Follow that only. Now let us continue the important questions from this area. The first one, highest peak in Michael range. This is the location of Michael range and the highest peak is Amarkandak. Second question, highest peak in Vindhya range. This is the Vindhya range and the highest peak is Sadbhavana Shigara. Next, highest peak in Satpura range. This is the Satpura range. Highest peak is this one and it is Drupkat. Next, Dafa Hills. This is the location of Dafa Hills. Next, Saskar range. This is the Saskar range in the north side near to Karakoram range. Next, the Jaintia Hills. Here you can see this is the location of Jaintia Hills. It is in the northeast side. Next, Kashi Hills. Here you can see near to the Jaintia Hills there is Kashi Hills. Next, the Cardamom Hills, that is in Kerala. This is the Cardamom Hills location. And Kaimur range. You can see this is the Kaimur range. Next, Kanchenjunga. Here you can see this is the Kanchenjunga peak. This is the location of Kanchenjunga. Next, Nanga Parvat. Here you can see this is the peak of Nanga Parvat near to Mount K2. Next, Bundelkhand Highlands or Plateau. So here you can see this is the Bundelkhand Highland. Next, Raj Mahal Hills. And you can see this is the location of Raj Mahal Hills. Okay, near to the West Bengal state. Next, Pir Panchal range. Here you can see near to the Saskar range there is Pir Panchal range, the north side. Now Mishmi Hills. You can see the northeast, almost near to the boundary there, Mishmi Hills. You can see this is the location. Practice this one. You will be getting some important questions from this area. So practice it well. Now let us move to the important rivers in India. So all the rivers in India are divided into Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers. So Himalayan rivers are otherwise known as perennial rivers. So here you can see Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra. Three rivers are there mainly, and their tributaries form the Himalayan rivers. Then coming to the middle of India, there is Narmada, Tapti, Mahanadi. Then coming to South India, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. These are the important rivers in India. Now let us go through some important map pointing questions from this area. They are the longest river in India, that is Ganga River. This is the location of Ganga River. Then the largest peninsular river, that is Godavari River. This is the location of Godavari River. Next, the only river in Thar Desert, that is River Luni. This is the location of River Luni. Next, the river flows through Rift Valley, that is River Narmada. This is the location of River Narmada. Then the second largest peninsular river, that is Krishna River. This is the location of Krishna River. Then River Indus. You can see River Indus starts from here. So this is the location of River Indus, and these are tributaries of River Indus. Next, Brahmaputra River. You see, this is the location of Brahmaputra River. And River Kaveri. Here you can see in Tamil Nadu. This is the location of River Kaveri. Mahanadi River. You can see it here, the middle of India. That is the Mahanadi River. Next, Mahi River. Here you can see near to Gujarat or River Narmada. There is Mahi River. Then River Satluj. River Satluj is one of the tributary of Indus. This is the River Satluj. Next, Yamuna River. That is the tributary of Ganga, and you can see this is Yamuna near to the Ganga. Next, Tungabhadra River. You can see one of the tributary of Krishna River near to that Tungabhadra. Next, River Tapti is near to River Narmada. Tapti, downside of River Narmada, you can draw Tapti. Next, River Sabarmati. It is also in Gujarat. You can see near to Mahi River, that is River Sabarmati. So practice this one. Let us move to the third question. Here is the map. Observe that well. Then answer the given question. The first question is, which is the eastern boundary of Deccan Plateau? This is the Deccan Plateau. Eastern boundary is the Eastern Ghats. Second question, which river flows through Rift Valley? So the Rift Valley is in between Vindhya and Satpura range. This is the Rift Valley, and the river flows through that area is River Narmada. Next, which mountain range is situated in the northwest part of India? This is the northwest side. So the mountain range is Aravalli mountain range. Hope you understood this session very well. Thank you for watching the video.